Welcome guys, it is the AxeMan here, and today we're going to be going over the Arc Center Creature Vote Thingamadoodle. Now, I've not done one of these before, but I felt like I just needed to get it out there. Mainly for myself, but for also other people that are like me, that are maybe more visual learners or, just want to listen to someone talk about it rather than just sit at this page and look at these words. The one thing Wildcard needs to do is add a picture here. I need to see what I'm voting for, because dinosaur and creature names are very complicated for a lot of people, me included. I don't know what any of these are. So I do feel like this is, hindered people's votes before, because they've just put creatures randomly, and yeah, I don't know, man. So what I'm going to hopefully do, we're just going to go through some of these creatures, or all the creatures, have a look at the pictures, have a quick read about it, and hopefully that's going to just, make it easier for some people to vote. Also, we're going to go over the voting system, because some people don't really understand how the voting system works, and I do feel like that's influenced some bad choices with the creature vote. Not necessarily bad. I do feel like all the creatures that have won deserve to win, but some of them just don't suit the map as well as others do, if that makes any sense. So yeah, we'll just jump into it and we'll start. So let me just go over the ranking system. The way this works, it's like an elimination process. So just say this is the order I wanted them in. Obviously this is not, because I don't really know what all these creatures are, but just say this is my favorite and I'm the only one that picks that. That's going to get knocked out and goes all the way down to bottom place. Let's say it's like that. So now my second place is my top vote. Let's say that one gets knocked out, and then this one gets knocked out as well. So now my fourth place is my top, and maybe I only picked my top 3 creatures and I hate whatever this is. Now that is what I'm voting for, and does that make sense now? So right now that's my top, that's my second, that's my third, if I was just move these round and stuff. So don't just pick your top 3. You literally have to put them all in order. Maybe the bottom couple don't matter too much, but definitely maybe the top 6, I would say, have to be the ones you want. So number 1 is the one you definitely want. Number 2 is the one you definitely want. Number 3 is the definitely you want. And then maybe the next 3 are okay, if that wins, that's kind of cool. And then the bottom 3 or 4 are ones that you really don't want to see in the game. Hopefully that helps a little bit more, because I was confused when this first happened. But anyways, what we're going to do then, hopefully that's helped some of you. We're going to just go through the creatures. I've just done them in order of how they've put them on here. So first off then, we have, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce any of these, but this is the Mesoparaphyllus. This is a giant hermit crab, the perfect creature to improve the ocean and land. And this is perfect because the center map, if you've not played on it, to me, feels it's a mix between land and, I won't even say sea, more like land and rivers and lakes. You know what I mean? There's a lot of small islands and just water connecting it also. There is going to be this water theme going on here, and I do feel like this is off to a great start. Giant hermit crab. Now, I'm not going to read every single one of these pictures and all these descriptions. We'll just kind of gloss over it. If you want to look more into detail, then definitely do this. But I love when people make a full dossier. I think that's really cool. So this looks like it can have multiple shells or different saddles. So you can have a metal set, which obviously would make you more armored up and maybe resistant against certain things. You got an obsidian set, we've got a biotoxin set, which looks kind of fire, crystal set, and then the great escape, which I'm gonna guess is no shell, speedy, you can run away and hide from stuff. So really like that idea. Love all the artist drawings there as well. We do have a little render image here of some little hermit crabs. I don't know if they're how many shells are there? Are they pushing shells up the beach? Are they dragging shells away? I'm not 100% sure. So the taming method for this seems very complicated. There is a nice visual representation here, but you've got to find a group of hermit crabs, attack the shells. They all hide inside the shell, and then you've just got to keep hitting it until these bars go down. And then there's either a chance for the crab to come out and attack you, or come out and try to repair the shell. So when it does repair the shell, it might ask you for resources to help it repair the shell. So if it's got an obsidian shell, it will ask you for obsidian. You help it, you gain this kind of trust, and eventually become a best friend. So different way of taming. Do like that. And then we do have another little image of it just here. Again, it looks pretty cool. We've got all the type of different shells. So we've got the stone shell. We've got a metal shell just here. Again, looking very nice. We've got the obsidian shell. I'm not going to go over all of these. Again, that's something that you lot can read. We've got the biotoxin shell, which looks like it's knocking creatures out. I do really like that. The crystal shell. I'm vibing with that one. And then it looks like we can also do a cannonball launch. So you can throw shells at people. We've got shell explosion. It looks like we can blow shells up, especially if things are chasing you. Want to do a quick getaway. We've got a shell slam. I like this. This is a very detailed dossier, by the way. This is really good. We've got a hiding mode. So it looks like creatures going to try and attack you, but they can't. Baryonic stun immunity. You can just hide in your shell just there. And then we do have a visual representation of just how big it would actually be to the human. But just remember, Ark likes to make things bigger and smaller when they do these creatures. But I think that's a pretty decent size. Maybe make him a tiny bit smaller. But yeah, that's the crab. So obviously we just kind of glossed over it. There's obviously more things to it. But very, very detailed dossier. It's got all images and everything. Really, really nice. A lot of work's gone into this guy. Now, will he fit the center? Yes. Simple answer. Yes, it will. It will be perfect for the center. I mean, yeah, there's the crab. All right, moving on to the next one. So this is a Myacaronics. This is the cheetah dude, which was also for Ragnarok, was it? I think I actually voted for this one quite highly. So it's a speed demon. It's a really fast cat. Now, they have said if it loses this, it'll be resubmitted for Valgiro, and after that it won't be done ever again. But it is essentially a very fast creature, something to get about on land as quick and as fast as possible. Think of like a galley, but maybe on steroids. So we've got this beautiful long cat just here. We've also got a little baby, and there's also the little jumping spider from the Aberration vote, I believe, or maybe from Scorched vote. But yeah, I'm a fan of this one. So what does it do? Speed. This is just a speed demon. I do have to say, the baby picture on here, I like that. So yeah, this is going to be the fastest creature in the entire game, surpassing even the speediest DLC mounts. So yeah, we're just built for speed. Also, it receives no full damage, possesses some degree of swimming and paddling, can transition from swimming to running atop of the water. Default sprint speed is akin to that of a Managama. Sprint speed upon using its maximum boost ability lets it just barely surpass the tech skiff. So it's not going to be crazy fast, but it will just be, it will just inch to get up fast. So we do have different styles for this. Standard style, the default mode allows you to use regular attacks. Then we've got the hazard development style, lay waste with haste. So it looks like we just run and maybe throw shit. So, like little traps behind us. Anyone that's behind us is going to just get absolutely destroyed. We then have a blazing style, spark up a trail of fire. So we're just running. There's going to be fire behind us. And then we have leisure travel style. So we can, run, but also go in and out of trees and stuff like that. And then we do have a couple attacks here, which I do like this little image just here. So it looks like when you sprint in and you charge up a powerful attack, we're going to have this meter, and if you hit a creature when it gets to, obviously, the green, you're going to get a really good attack. If you do miss that, however, because we're running at such speed, you're going to trip over and fall and lose, all your momentum and stuff. I don't mind that. That's pretty cool. And then this is where it probably fits into the center, is it can actually run on water, it looks like. So, yeah, cross oceans and rivers. I don't know if I agree with the ocean, but definitely just running across a river would be really cool for the center. And then we've also got another little picture here of just drifting and looking like a bike rider. I think that's pretty cool. And then the thing that I'm not a big fan of is the tech saddle. That's obviously, a preference, but I don't like tech stuff really at all. But I mean, the image there, it looks pretty sick. I don't mind that at all. And then we do have the taming way of doing this. So you need to find a baby. They're found hiding in bushes or tight corners in the wild. Shy of everything that wanders by, players must approach carefully and repeatedly feed its meat to gain its trust. but you've got to beware because the parents will be lurking about and they're going to attack you and stuff. So you're just going to be taming a baby that way, which is good because there are babies on Ark Ascension stuff. So yeah, that's the cheetah dude. Would it fit the center? A little bit, not as much as say the crab did. This is going to be submitted for Valgira, which I think would be a better suit for it, but I mean, it still will work. If it did win, it would still work, I guess. So then we move on to the Shasta, which is a giant marine reptile leviathan with submarine saddle. I mean, the image of that looks amazing, but also really dumb at the same time. Like, that's cool and all, but I mean, I suppose we have weird tech stuff. I'm not a huge fan of the ocean creatures. Just gonna say that. Obviously, some people love them, some people hate them. Not a huge fan of the ocean creatures. But yeah, this is going to just be a giant submarine. It's going to be what looks like maybe bigger than a Mosa. If we're looking at the little dude here, this will be second biggest, maybe after Leedsichthyus that's in the water. You'll also be able to build inside of the submarine saddle, which I guess you could have like a base inside of that, which kind of would be fire, I guess. We don't really have anything like that. Also, we have tech bases underwater, but we don't have a portable one which you can move around on. So it's going to be big enough to where a Tuso can't grab it. It's going to have echolocation. It's going to have a charged up sonic blast. It's going to be efficient in gathering oil. And the saddle's similar to an Andrewsuka saddle. It doesn't require anything to power it and will produce oxygen in the submarine mode at no cost. And honestly, that's all we really get about this. It's just a giant submarine. No crazy stuff going on. Just a big water creature, big submarine. Really cool. Would it fit the center? It would. It definitely would with all the water. However, you've then got a lot of land and lots of islands where this dude is useless. That's the only issue with water creatures, and that's the same issue we're going to have with every single one of these water ones. But yeah, no, the saddle, the submarine's cool. I wouldn't mind building a little base in there if it did win. But yeah, there's that one. So moving on, we have the Bajasaurus, which I just keep looking at that and thinking the Baja Blast. A savage sea-loving sauropod. So we do have a dossier here. And this dude, this one here reminds me of the Pokemon. I can't remember what it's called, but you know, the sauropod, ancient fossil Pokemon. I can't remember what generation it's from, but I'm sure some of you will. But yeah, lovely little dossier there. I do really appreciate that. Okay, so it looks like we've just got a big sauropod. Taming, because of their less aggressive manner, before attacking female Baja Blasts, will flare their sails, but will not proceed to attack if you drop them some fiber. After a while, hand feed the female to gain her trust. Although I have seen a tamed Bajasaurus male, its owner did not want to say how one might, I guess that's tame this valuable creature. So to tame a female, you just need fiber. That seems very easy and very cheap. It's fairly common to see two Bajasaurus males fight, and while they won't kill each other, they may leave each other incredibly wounded. However, as I've seen firsthand, this is the only way you can attempt to befriend them. Okay, so you're probably gonna have to wait for a male to be injured and then like help them, heal them, feed them. That's kind of cool, but again, a very easy way to tame this guy. I like them to have a tiny bit of a challenge, so maybe you can incorporate something a little more, but if they are really, really friendly dudes, then I guess it is what it is. So once they are tamed up, they specialize in gathering fiber and wood, crush even the hardest of stones. From quick feet to next maneuverability, they are shockingly mobile for their size and become even more so after they have a quick dip in some water. So they're also going to have that Spino buff we do with the water. It looks like they're just going to be a gathering machine, which, I mean, that makes sense on why they're kind of easy to tame. We have a moveset as well. So we've got a foot stomp. We've got a stomping tantrum. We've got a neck sweep. We're going to have lower neck down to shoulder level, which is spacebar toggle neck mode. We've got a tail grab. We're going to have a downward tail bash. The female can bellow out and flare, cause like a Yeti roar. And the male does a neck sack, which comes inflated, which causes a rage effect on the dino, given its boosted speed. Okay, so these are definitely gathering creatures and support creatures. I guess that makes sense on why they're easy to tame. I'm not sure how big they are. I guess we've got a human here, so we're like the size of its head. Maybe a little bit bigger. Okay, now, would that fit with the center vibe? Yes, it would. It's definitely, it likes the water. It gets that water buff. There's lots of lakes. There's lots of rivers. So definitely fits in with the center vibe. Not got an issue with that one. And then next up, we've got the Nothesaurus Ludicus, the boiling sea lizard of the center with a slight redesign. All right. So we've got this guy. And I was expecting this guy to be huge, but he's actually not that much bigger than a human. Interesting. So we've got a big sea lizard. The marine reptile can be found in the oceans and the beaches in the center in packs of 2 to 5 individual with razor-sharp teeth, high mobility, paired in a pack of high is a dangerous sight. The Nothesaurus can be found laying on the surface on their backs and hunting small fish. So this dude's going to be just chilling on the beach. He's going to be in the water, or they're going to be chilling on the beach, just doing their stuff. So they do have a dual color and pattern, but when the Nothesaurus warms up in the sun, this will change in a deep black with beautiful bioluminescent patterns. After a day, the warmth will decrease, and when not warmed up, the Nothesaurus won't have much stamina and strength. That's actually pretty cool. So this dude, you want to sunbathe it and get like as much energy and stuff into him, and then it will grow all colorful and beautiful, and it's going to make him stronger. When that fades, or if you even head into the snow, I think that just said, yeah, the snow's too much for it, then it gets weaker. I don't mind that. That's pretty cool. Breaching the surface of the water will briefly propel you forward, so you're kind of nice and fast in the water just there. Do we have anything else? A boiling beam. We've got an attack called a boiling beam, boiling shots, boiling mist. Taming it to tame enough of you need to kill its pack. And after that, it will go passive. Drop a pearl. It can either be a black pearl or a silica pearl. It will pick it up, do a pearl check. If it doesn't like it, it will drop it, and you'll have to wait. If it starts playing with it, you can go up to it and feed it a Tuso tentacle. Okay, so you've got to distract it with something shiny. Ooh, shiny, here you go. And then it wants a tentacle for whatever reason. That's kind of cool. In its inventory, an exclusive item can be made. This item is a bio dye that will be made by mixing bio spit and the dye of your choice. This will give your creature or armor a nice glow that looks great and shines in the dark. That's sick. So I can make a bright pink one of these. That's really cool. Nice. Okay, so a little bit of an interesting one. It suits the center perfectly. You know, it chills on the beach. It can go in the water. It can probably last on land a little bit. It might just be really slow. In terms of the center, it fits it perfectly. I love the bioluminescent. That'd be really cool when it gets dark and stuff. All right, that's an interesting one. I don't mind it though. So next up, we've got this crazy shark dude, a Salvodus, the man-eater. And if we're having a look at this, it's just going to be a big boy shark. Looks a little bit bigger than a megalodon. I do like the gills here. We only have the one picture and then a lot of text and writing, and this is why we're kind of doing this, because even I don't want to read all of that, but we'll kind of breeze over it and see what's happening. So in the wild, it's a remarkable species patrolling the Arctic oceans, always looking for its next meal. So it's going to be very aggressive. It's adapted for the harsh environment. It lunges towards its prey, brutally maiming them with its incredible jaw design and natural razors. Much like the mainland's hyenodons, this large shark seeks out weaker prey rather than wasting energy hunting down full healed ones. So it's going to be the hyenodon of the ocean. If you are weakened, if you've already taken damage from a pack of megalodons, this dude's going to swoop in and start damaging you. And I love my hyenodons, but that is really annoying, but I love that mechanic. So this is actually pretty cool. However, I do feel like I'm always injured in the ocean. There is a lot of stuff in the ocean that just wants to kill you all the time, and then we'll add in this as well. It's sought after for its high metabolism, much like the Daedon. It too possesses the ability to regenerate rapidly, not only itself but other nearby creatures. So this is also going to heal creatures in the water, which I don't believe we have. So that is kind of cool. You use this as a Daedon. It will follow you around and it can heal your creatures. Maybe you can take it into boss fights as well. What boss fight do we have? The giant eel. I mean, that's kind of cool. That could definitely work. So depending on what food you use, your creature heals more. So if you've got raw meat, it's 0.0025. And if you're using prime meat, it's 0.007. That's pretty cool. Don't mind that. C is a grab attack, much like the Megalosaurus. That's nice. Gill empowerment, 10% damage increase. Allies are given this buff through the latch attack. And then taming method. You must instigate a feeding frenzy on one of your tames. To do this, you will make chum bucket taint with narcotics. Once you've located the dude, you will want your creature to latch onto. So pretty much you chuck the chum bucket onto your creature, and that shark's going to think this creature's injured. It's going to latch onto it and it's going to be thrashing about. It's going to be eating all of that food with the narcotic into it, and eventually it's going to knock itself out, and then you're just going to go and put some kibble in it. That's pretty cool. Now, will this fit the center map? Again, it's a water creature, so yes, it actually will. It's kind of a really unique ability. I really don't mind that one at all. It's a healer, it's going to help, it's going to be a support creature, but it also looks like it can pack a little bit of a punch. So yeah, it works. I don't mind that one at all. The giant flying fish. Now this one seems pretty cool. The Pterosaur. Again, I'm going to pronounce these wrong. So we have a fish that can fly, it looks like, or maybe glide out of water. Let's just say, will this fit the center? Yes, it will, because this is what we need. Some of it kind of incorporates the rivers and the land. So yeah, we're going to be able to jump out the water on this flying fish. That looks really cool. Some of the abilities, launch and glide. Gain speed to launch out the water. The more speed you have, the higher in the air you will go. Similar to a Maywing, you then hold the button to glide and control the angle and the speed at which you fly at. To descend, there's a couple options. A speedy dive where you jump back in the deep water, or parachute where you're more slow, you control the descent, or simply glide until you reach water again. So glide until you reach water again makes it seem like you can just glide forever. We also have a speed boost, charge attack, so we're going to be able to actually go really, really fast. We have a spin attack, and I have to say, I love this image just here. The way it looks like a water spirit or something, that's really cool, man. Oh yes, because it's invisibility, so we can actually go invisible when we're in the water, so creatures aren't going to acknowledge you. So on land, this is the bit that's going to be interesting. What happens if you land on land? No threat. Though it is a fish, if you do happen to get stuck on land, you do have time to get back in the water with either using a cryopod or its sliver flopping movement, similar to the it's the dude I can never pronounce. You can shuffle your way back into the water. So it looks like it's going to have like an oxygen bar, or, you know, a drying up bar or something like that. So you can actually be on the water. Obviously, you're going to be flopping around and all crazy. I love that. I always say I think the Megalodon should have that. It should be able to jump on the beach and grab beach creatures and pull them in. That's a really cool idea just there. So we do have a little representation of it gliding, which I think looks beautiful. And then it's swimming. It's kind of got its little wings down by its side. That looks really cool. Also kind of looks a little bit like a penis, but we'll just pretend like it doesn't. So we do have a dossier here. Again, there's the kind of the size of what it would be. So it's a little bigger than a human there. But yeah, it does look really cool. Again, do love the dossier. So taming method. So it's going to be tamed similar to the Astradelis, but in the end, a Sinnoh would probably be a better comparison. They'll spawn in groups, and as long as you have their favorite food, which is the ammonite bile in your inventory, they will come up for you to be fed, swimming around you, and sometimes running away, having to chase after them. So yeah, they smell the food, they want that, they come up to you, you passively feed them, and obviously they might run away, but because you're in the water, there's going to be sharks and stuff after you, so it's not exactly straightforward. And this one does also have a tech saddle, which, again, I don't rate, but if you're into that, then there might be a tech saddle for it as well. There is some more additional info on just kind of what this creature was. I do like this. This is really cool. So this is the inspiration of the little flying gliding fish. There's a fossil of one. And yeah, another little picture there. This one would fit the center very, very well. This is exactly what the center is all about. Same with like the crab. We've got a mixture of water. We've got the mixture of land. Yeah, very, very, very good. Do like that one. We've got a couple more left. If you're stuck this far in the video, well done. Congratulations. You deserve a medal. But next up, we're on to the giant lobster, which is a medic. The perm fix. Again, dossier. Love that shit. Giant lobster. Now, we don't have a lobster in the game. Or a crab, right? So yeah, we might get a lobster or a crab this time. That's really cool. So here we go. They've got the dossier there. Looks like it's kicking a shark's ass there, or healing one. Looks like it can also get out of water and climb up cliff sides there. So in the wild, just when you thought the Arctic oceans were terrifying enough, I come across the oversized lobster. The giant crustacean has 2 unique claws, one for grabbing its prey, a more sharper one for stabbing. When it isn't walking along the ocean floor, it can be seen occasionally hiding in the sands on beaches with only their antennae sticking out. Survivors must approach a buried lobster unless they plan to tame one. Oh, don't approach one. Okay, so that's what this image is. So they hide in the sand. That's kind of cool. So domesticated, if you manage to tame a giant lobster, you'll find that this megalodon-sized crustacean has some incredible utility both inside and outside of combat. The giant lobster acts as an underwater daedon. So again, another healer underwater, which looks like people want. Looks like there's something we do need. Also, incredible mobility, being able to walk on the ocean floor, swim, walk on land, and even climb surfaces with the help of its powerful claws. We do have an image here of a giant crab picking someone up. Is that from Elden Ring? I'm sure that's from Elden Ring just there. Yeah, it is. Elden Ring lobsters. So we've got left click, attack becomes jab after holding it. We've got right click, which we can hold stuff. So taming, you need to let the giant lobster grab you with its claw, and before it slaps you with its sharp claw, feed it kibble, where it will drop you and become passive for a little bit before becoming aggressive again. So you want it to pick you up, and just before it's about to punch the shit out of you, you feed it, and he's like, all right, I'll eat, and then you got to keep going again. And I love this. There is a 1% chance that a blue lobster will spawn. I love that idea. That is so sick. That is actually amazing. Maybe, yeah, could they make it lower than 1%? I want it to be really, really rare, because obviously you can get blue lobsters in the wild and they're really, really rare. So that's kind of sick. Oh, that's really cool. So let's just have a look at that. Nice. So would this fit the center map? Again, yes, it will. So far, I think every creature more or less suits the center map. I definitely get a feel of these kind of semi-aquatic ones that can do land and sea are really good. So yeah, that's the giant lobster. We now move on to a flyer. This is, I can't pronounce this one. This is the Hatzegorpatrix. This is essentially a big giant bird similar to a quetzal. Now, I'm just going to say this. I don't think we need this in the game, but that's just my opinion. But this is going to be a giant pterosaur, pretty much. It's an island hopping pterosaur, yeah, with near infinite stam. Don't really like that too much. Imagine the hats would be no apex of the sky, but rather the apex on the ground, just the way it was in real life. If you have watched, what's it called? Prehistoric Planet? I think it is on Apple TV. These dudes are in here. And they used to fly everywhere. They would land on the ground because they're so tall. They're kind of like a giraffe. They would like pick up babies and eat them and stuff. So I guess that's the inspiration we're going for. So yeah, in the wild, it's one of the most amazing, majestic, and surprisingly very common creature. The Hatz is an island hopping pterosaur, which lives on coastal islands, but can also commonly be found nesting, hunting, and taking care of their young atop the floating island. The floating island? What's the floating island on the center? We don't have a floating island. So yeah, it looks like they just literally drop nests from 2 to 3 at a time. They're not aggressive towards humans. In fact, they are incredibly curious of people and will come up to people without aggression. Now that's weird. I thought these would be really aggressive. However, if you have any baby dinosaur with you, they will snap them up in an instant. So if you do have a little baby knocking about with you, they're going to eat them. So domesticated, a tamed one will be your best friend. There will be a hunting buddy and a loyal defender. This magnificent creature is one that carries 2 survivors and is equipped with a small machine gun turret for defense. I don't like that at all. I don't like when, is it the Tropicana dude with his jetpack? I don't rate that at all. It can also be equipped with a bombing saddle. Again, if that's what you like, then that's probably going to be really cool. But for me personally, I don't like that stuff. But I mean, a machine gun and a bombing saddle, it's interesting. So the taming method is quite horrific. You have to feed these dudes baby dinosaurs. The higher level of the baby, the more levels the dude gets. If you tame a male one, you can do a courtship display in the form of an emote. And if the female participates in the emote, she will be tamed. So you have to tame a male, and then you can go dance to a female, and she might tame up. That's actually really cool. I really like that taming method. So it looks like you got to tame a dude first. by feeding it babies. And if you want a female, you've got to dance with it. That's really cool. So we've got a sprint. They run faster than any other flyer, but also taking off while sprinting gives it a large speed boost. Can fly faster than a wyvern. Cliff latch. They can latch onto the side of cliffs. Peck bite attack, 50 base damage. Headbutt, swallow, pick up bite, apex predator buff, and a roar. Taming protection as well. There is a lot going on here. Tamed hats have set to rescue mode, left by taming creature. Oh, okay. So when you're taming a creature, you can let this dude chill by your tamed creature. He's going to defend it and scare stuff off. That's actually pretty cool. That's actually really cool. I really, really like that. We also have rescue mode. Holding the, whatever that button is, will open the interaction wheel for the dinosaur, and there'll be an option called rescue mode. With rescue mode enabled, called upon with a whistle, will instantly fly to the owner's rescue by picking them up with a beak, throwing them onto their saddle, saving them from danger. I don't know how I feel about that. Interesting. We've also got a thunderclap, a jet stream, island hopping, weight reduction, base saddle, turret saddle, bomber saddle, can go sleep once asleep, can be cuddled. They've also got a tech variant of it as well. Would it fit the center? I guess it would. It's island hopping. It would, I guess, fit the center. Do I need another flyer in the game? Personally, not. But again, it's not me who's doing the vote. It's you lot. If you want another flyer, then go ahead. It would be cool. I just think there's maybe some better ones. So last but not least, we have the killer whale. We have an orca. This one's called an Orcinicitus, the wolf of the sea. So yeah, it's a killer whale. It's an orca. What we're looking like in size, it's going to be a big boy just here. It's going to be very smart, it seems. So they are mostly seen among the arc shallow waters. Some tribes even call them the wolf of the sea, which is a very accurate title if you ask me. Thanks to their intelligence and speed, they're an excellent hunter and definitely the apex predator in its habitat. So once they are domesticated, they're a perfect mount for traveling the oceans and all of its secrets. Very fast swimmer, adapt in the most dire situations. So it's a must-have for if you're going into the water pretty much. Due to its social nature, it sometimes takes care of babies of other species. So again, we're kind of leaning into the baby aspect that we're having in Ark Ascension. So it's a tame one. A young one will swim around beaches or rafts, and they can be passively tamed by playing with them. That's kind of cool. They'll come closer and you will ask to give them a special item. Depending on that item you need to activate a specific emote in front of the young whale. If it worked, the whale jumps out the water, and after some time it asks for the next item. Those items could be a trophy drops like the tentacle, a megalodon tooth Basiosaurus, or just some food. Okay, so that's an interesting way of taming. I don't mind that. XP sharing. You can share the gained XP with young creatures. If an orchid reaches a certain amount of XP, it can interact with a baby for a short time and transfer some of its XP to the baby. Interesting. That's kind of cool. Okay, so they specialize with a trophy drop. Feeding one, a tentacle will give them a damage buff against the Tusos. Okay. So depending on what you feed it, it will be stronger against that creature. That's pretty cool. For a short time as well, or temporarily, it says. They also get a pack buff like the direwolf and the aloes, which makes sense as they would be in packs. An ambush. They can ambush out of water and try and grab nearby flyers or animals near the beach. Like I said, that should have been for the megalodon. That's really sick. It will beach itself for a short period of time. So yeah, it's going to like flop into the water. Echolocation to find where creatures are and stuff. An immobilizing sound. That could be pretty cool. Immobilize and disorientate the target. Unmounted and wild creatures would be stunned for a short amount of time, while other players or mounted creatures may have their controls switched. That's kind of cool. This would make some random but funny moments. Agreed. Okay, that's pretty sick. So we've got a bite attack, tail attack, which stuns. We're going to have the jump out of water. We're going to have echolocation. We're going to have the immobilizing sound and consume a random trophy. So that's the killer whale just there. Just the one picture we have to work with. That's interesting. Again, would it work with the centaur? Yes, it would. I feel like every creature in here is pretty good for the centaur. Like I said, a lot of water. So if we just go through them real quick, we've got a crab, We've got the speedy cheetah. We've got the submarine. We've got the sauropod dude. We have the beach lizard dude. We've got the healing shark. We've got the flying fish. We've got the lobster. We've got the big flyer. We've got the killer whale. So what you need to do with all that information is now you need to go to this link. I'll put all the links in the description for you as well, and put what order you want. So remember, I would say the top 6 must be the top 6 you want. The bottom 3 or 4 don't matter too much, but if there is a creature you hate, if you hate the pen fix, which I can't remember what it is, if you hate it that much and you don't want to see it in the game, make sure you put it at the bottom. If you really like the Shastasaurus, maybe it's your second favorite, make sure you have it up near the top. This is how you've got to do it. It has to be in order of which ones you like, because first, second, third might be gone. It might be eliminated, which means 4th place is your top pick. That's how this works. So hopefully I've gone through some of these and it's helped you decide what creature you want, like, to be voted in the game. Hopefully it's helped you a bit, especially for those of you that don't want to just sit and read this all by yourselves. Make sure you are voting as well, because we need to get as many people as possible voting, so there's more of a representation of everyone, if that makes sense. Again, I'm not going to tell you which one I'm voting for because I don't want to influence anyone, but I know in my head where my top few are. So yeah, there we are then. If you enjoyed this type of video, make sure you're whacking a like, make sure you're subscribing, you're ringing the bell, you're enabling notifications, and yeah, maybe I can do one for the next one. But yeah, there we are. And yeah, happy voting. I'll catch you in a bit. See you later.